Hey guys, welcome back to FBT Podcast. This is Dave. We're on episode 44, and we have the awesome Felicity Feline on. Felicity, you want to say hi to the fans?
Hey guys, what's going on?
So we were just having a convo off air about traffic, horrific traffic. And what was the last thing you were saying, Felicity, about? Oh, we were talking about, I asked you if you like East Coast or West Coast.
Right. And I said I'm originally from New York, so I know all about traffic,
Yep.
specifically Long Island. But I basically during my semesters off in college, I just started going to California,
Mm.
mainly like San Diego. And I was just kind of exploring the area. I had friends out there. And, so basically by the time I was done with school and had some money saved, I just completely got the fuck out and went out to the West Coast, and really like never looked back. I mean, I visit a lot because I'm very close with my family, but I have no intention of ever moving back there. Like I've made my life out here, and I'm just much more comfortable on the West Coast. I'm not really sure why, but I just I like the weather, the atmosphere. I feel healthier out here, and I go back to the East Coast and I appreciate it in a lot of ways. It's beautiful, and my roots are there, but it's just not my home. You know what I mean?
Excuse me. That's so interesting, being as that, like, you're actually from the East Coast in New York, and you say that it's not your home. You don't feel like it's your home. And it's like, I feel the same way because I grew up in New York. I grew up in the Bronx, the inner city. And I moved to New England a long time ago. And, I started to experience like the outdoors, camping, shooting, stuff like that. And I didn't really get to experience that in the city. And it just changed me. Like, I just appreciated it way more. And I have to be by the ocean, and I have to be in nature. And I just can't understand people that love the city. I mean, I like to visit, but I can't be around concrete and congestion and all those people and traffic. Like, it just drives me crazy. I'm like you. I can't move back to that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, I actually get anxious when I'm in the city, because there was a period of time when I was living on Long Island, when I was still living there, I was working in the city a lot, like doing sales for nutritional companies, and I had to just visit accounts every day and, deliver products and check stock and all this stuff. And I would spend days at a time sometimes in the city, and like I had a maximum amount of days that I could do it before I started to just feel like really cagey and uncomfortable. And then I would just have to get back out. And like, I grew up in the North Shore on Long Island, where there's a lot of trees and beaches and forests, and so I had access to nature my whole life. And it's a really important part of just relaxing and inspiring me. Like, I need to be outdoors as much as possible. So that's kind of why too I like the West Coast, because I always can be outside.
Yep. Now, it's funny, like, we already kind of got into this. I was going to get into that a little bit later in the segment, but since we're already there, I was going to talk to you about, because like, it's evident, like, via your social media that you love nature. I mean, it looks like you enjoy hiking and stuff like that, being outdoors. And, I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, but I feel like that's like missing today. Like, I know a lot of people like to be outdoors, but I feel like everybody's like so fixated on their phone and technology. And I don't feel like being in a safe concrete environment that's not natural. And like, people like depressed and angry. How do you feel about that?
Oh no, I agree. I mean, I'm going to get all like biological here, but literally, like, our ancestors, they didn't walk on concrete. You know what I mean? They didn't wear shoes. Like, they were touching the ground and interacting with the earth. And, it's just, that has a lot of effect on your body, and your overall energy. And, I can't thrive in a city, but I mean, some people, they're used to it. Like they're either, they grew up in it, or they just like the hustle and bustle that it brings, which I can understand. But I'm just so rooted in nature. Like to me, I feel centered and level-headed the most when I can be outside and I can like be away from people and be away from society and just kind of like get back to my origin, so to speak, and like also to escape technology, because you're right. I mean, like, people are addicted to their phones. Technology has changed the way people live, and in a lot of ways for the better. I don't want to like say it's not important, because like I rely on technology a lot,
right?
But there should be a balance. Like, you should be able to spend some hours away from your phone and away from the internet. And that's like why I like to go in nature a lot. Like I just I'll put on a podcast or I'll listen to music, which I'm still engaging in some type of technology, but like I turn my fucking Wi-Fi on. I mean, my Wi-Fi off, and, and I kind of just like get into what I'm doing and
going out.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I think that's healthy. It's important to do that.
100%. Excuse me. Yeah, I agree with you 150%. It's like a mental reset. And like, it's sad because a lot of people, they don't even know what they're missing. Like, you were talking about the people that are into like the hustle and bustle. Like you kind of touched on, some people, like, that's just like all they know, and it's like they don't know any better, and being in nature is so foreign to them, and it's kind of sad. And they may be kind of like antsy and kind of like crabby, and it's like, dude, go get some fresh air, run, like go by the ocean, something, But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that, and I agree with you. Like, it's in our genes, like. I feel like there's like an energy in nature, like I feel happier, just, the same way you just said. Yeah, it's definitely missing. I can't go back to the city, but that's me. So
yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
it's really therapeutic too. I mean, like that's a big reason. I'm very high energy by nature. I mean, I consider myself laid back too, but I have a lot of energy. And so for me, like, I've never really been a gym person either. Like I definitely am into fitness and being active, but I would rather personally go hiking and like go, outdoors and work out than go to a gym. And, I played sports my whole life, so like I know what it's like to be in the gym too, but I just find a lot more relief and I just feel overall much better. Like when I can go hike for an hour and a half, and I just feel like I'm engaging my body more naturally too. So like I kind of kill two birds with one stone. I'm getting my workout, I'm getting sun exposure, so I'm getting some vitamin D, and I'm just being outdoors and getting fresh air and like being in nature. And I just, that's what works for me, like to each his own. Like some people, the gym works for them, and I get it, but for me, it doesn't. So that's another reason, like, why I love nature so much.
I'm kind of like a workout nut myself. Like for me, it's therapeutic. The same thing with other activities that I'm into, but we can get into that later. Ironically, you're into a lot of the same things. It's funny, but I like all kinds of working out. I mean, I've done like martial arts. I'm into like weight training. I love hiking, running. There's something about running though. Like when you hit like a nice long trail and you push your body. For me, in the gym, I call it iron therapy. like I don't need a shrink. Like when I need to like work shit out, I just hit the weights, or like I'll run, that's like my medicine. But some people play video games, some people drink, everybody has their thing, but my thing is working out and running. But let's get into some of your other passions and hobbies. So if I'm not mistaken, you're into photography, working out, nature. You're a musician, you're a drummer, right?
Yeah.
Do you not want to go there?
Oh no, of course I do.
Okay. What's the name of your band?
My band is Gar Beast.
Okay, Garpies, cool. All right. Is there any like meaning to the name, or is just supposed to just be badass sounding?
Well, we're like a doom sludge metal band, and I so basically I joined this band this year. They were already a band for years, and they were looking for a drummer, and we jammed a couple times, and like I learned their songs really quickly, and we just vibed. I mean, we got along, and it was fun to play together, and we were all on the same page. And I mean, fuck, I've the past few years in LA, I must have jammed with like 15 to 20 bands. And things would either fizzle out, or it just wasn't the right fit, or like people would talk up this game and then they wouldn't want to play gigs, and like I'm like ready to play, like I was practicing like I'm jamming with people every other day. I'm practicing every day, like I have my equipment, like I was ready to be in a band that like and play gigs. So with Garbies, I just took the opportunity, and I'm like, okay, like let's fucking roll, and so we just started booking gigs pretty much as soon as we learned like a full set. And I'm smitten with them. Like I love this band, and it's just really exciting to kind of see it grow. And like I said, we play like more doom metal, sludgy, think like Black Sabbath-y meets Mastodon, like kind of like that. And we're doing more like progressive rock too, and psychedelic rock. So it's just
that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool, and I've been playing drums since I was a little kid. Like I started in elementary school, and it's been a really important part of my life. And I'm DJing a lot more this year and making electronic music. So cool. Music is definitely like my main sort of reason to want to live. It's just it's hard to make a living from it, so that's why I do so many other things, because I'm able to make money doing whatever and support my ultimate passion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I could relate to that, because like I know you're like into writing and stuff. I mean, you have it like on your bios and things like that. And like my passions are like podcasting, interviewing amazing people with great stories. I love writing. My thing is screenplays. I'm into movies, so I write full screenplays. It's it's for fun and my passion. If it goes somewhere, awesome. But first and foremost, I like doing it. So, but it's tough because you have to you gotta live in reality. Like you gotta make money, you know what I mean, to survive. And sometimes what you love, it doesn't make you money, and it's it sucks. But that's cool. Like you're doing what you love,
Yeah, I mean, and I've had this talk. I'm gonna get a little deep here. I've had a talk about careers and lifestyle choices with a lot of different people, because a lot of people support how I live. Other people criticize me, and they're saying like, if you love music so much, you should be doing that full time, and you shouldn't be working, in porn and doing this and doing that, and I'm like, well, look, the only reason I worked in that industry was to like support myself,
right,
and to build a following, so that I could, get more access within the music industry. And like, it doesn't mean that I don't want to focus solely on music. It's just like, I'm realistic. I know that I'm not going to achieve certain things in the music industry, like if I don't have the means to support myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, I have to be more than just a musician. Like there's so many musicians out there that are really talented and amazing, but they don't self-promote, and like they don't know how to market themselves. So I always had the mindset where like I have to develop myself as kind of like a brand. And that's going to be my way into really like making a path for myself in the music industry, because it is fucking hard to make it in music. You know what I mean? I mean, really like any entertainment industry, but I kind of blend the industries. I work in a lot of different ones. And so it just works to my advantage. Anyway.
No. It's totally cool. I love everything you were saying. Yeah, it's crazy. And like in certain fields, you could be really talented, and sadly, like sometimes it's like luck and who you know. I've experienced that with like, with writing and the movie industry and stuff like that. I mean, I've had some cool little success. I got some published things and I got little accomplishments, but it's tough. It's really tough. I mean, I can imagine music is similar to the, movie industry. And, as far as being like an adult entertainment, I was going to get into that, but since we're there now, did you, you kind of touched on it, but did you get a lot of pushback by like family and friends when you decided to go that route?
Yeah. So wait, before I get into that,
Okay.
I wanted to also touch base when you said like the photography and writing.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in college, I originally went to school. I originally got into college for art. I went for graphic design and photography. I was a really good artist.
Yep.
And I mean, I guess I still am in a way, but I don't really utilize those abilities very often anymore. Like I do for some stuff, but I don't do it like as a career. I do it more for just my own leisure. But I absolutely love writing. I've had a journal my entire life, and I have a blog that I get pretty in depth with my emotions and observations in there. And I studied journalism for a bit and creative writing in school, but I just realized I couldn't see myself doing that as a career. I realized like I could maybe use this in the future for something, but this is not really what I want to do. So I kind of shifted gears and I studied nutrition because I'm really into nutrition and health. And so that was like my bread and butter at first. I worked for like a bunch of different nutritional companies. And during that time, this was like the end of high school, college, mid-college, I started to get into webcamming because I was like experimenting and doing like nude modeling.
Yeah.
And I tried webcamming and I realized like this is pretty easy because
yeah.
I'm really expressive and I also really loved acting and like theater. So I'm like, okay, I mean, this is similar. It's just I'm nude and being kind of sexual but I'm very expressive in that way, so it kind of worked. And then basically like it was a really weird transition in my life, but I had an opportunity to shoot for this amateur company in San Diego, and I met this company strangely. Like I got the connection when I was like working a promo gig at a car show. Go figure. And then anyway, they asked if I wanted to shoot and they offered me like a lot of money, and I was just tempted, and I was so curious like to know what it was like, because
you just said fuck it.
Yeah, it was like really like curious. It was a lot of money for like, me all at once.
Yeah.
And I was kind of impulsive, but also like I grew up kind of a tomboy. So I kind of wanted to know what it was like to be one of those girls that like people gawk at on the internet. And so I kind of did it for like my own self-esteem too. Like I wanted to see how I would do. And the first experience shooting porn was not good. Well, the actual shooting, like the actual scene that we did was fine. Like, I got along well with the male talent and the producer and everything. Everything was fine. But then the aftermath was horrible. I mean, like I got attacked by every fucking person in my hometown, and people just made fun of me on the internet and social media. And like, so it was really rough in the beginning, and I was really unsure whether I wanted to continue. And I didn't for about a year. And then I had another offer to work with like more companies. And so I decided, no, fuck it. I'm going to do it. I was kind of like not sure what I wanted to do. And it's like, people want to think that working in the adult industry is like an easy way out, but it's really not, because not everyone can do it. First off, like I hate to sound, I don't mean to sound arrogant, but like you have to look good, obviously, if you're going to be successful. So there's that level, like the superficial aspect of it, but also like you have to have a thick skin, like you have to be ready for people to criticize you, and you're naked on the internet. It's like you're vulnerable, and a lot of people, like, they can't deal with it after they do it, and it ruins their life. And so I didn't want to be one of those people. So I literally like had to turn off the negativity that everyone was pushing on me and tell myself like, okay, I have to embrace this and I have to use it to my advantage. And so, I moved to LA and I just started working for companies and just really went from there. I just kind of, I had to like, I was at this fork in the road, and I had to let go of all the fear that I had and all like the inhibitions that were holding me back. And, I realized like I had to literally say like, fuck it, this is my life and I'm going to take a risk and I'm going to take a chance. And, high risk, high reward. Like if you really want to be successful in like these type of industries, you have to put yourself on the pedestal and like be able to take criticism, at least initially. And so, I'm rambling. But
no, it's totally cool. No, you're absolutely right too. No risk, no reward. And it's funny, like the internet in general. I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, but I feel like there's just a shitload of negativity on the internet, like especially YouTube. How do you deal with that? Do you interact with fans, or do you pretty much ignore things? How do you handle that?
I mean, it can be rough. I'm not going to lie. I come off as a very strong person, and I am, but I'm also sensitive, and, it really sucks sometimes when like I have to read negative comments about people. I mean, about myself that people write, when a lot of the things are just so inaccurate. It's really frustrating, if anything, because a lot of like the negativity is just really ignorant people that don't know what they're talking about, or like you can obviously tell that they're just miserable with their own life and they just want to spread it and like bring someone down. So I'm very like realistic about it. When I see negative comments, I'm like, okay, this person probably just hates their life, and so they're going to attack me because I love my life. So I get that. But then like, sometimes when people like make direct comments like about my body or something like that, that's a little bit more unnerving, because it's like, a direct blow.
Yeah.
And I get like, yeah, I'm putting myself out there. So I have to be ready for those types of like, negative comments. But it can definitely like fuck with my head a little bit. I mean, like at least it did really more in the beginning. Now it doesn't so much, because like I'm confident in who I am. And also because like I bring a lot to the table. It's not like I'm just, someone that does porn. I'm a musician. I'm an artist. I'm a nutritional counselor. Like I have a lot of experience under my belt.
Intelligent.
And so, that's why like negativity doesn't really affect me, because I'm on my path and I'm happy. And so no one's really going to change that. Like I'm the one in power of my happiness, and people need to like remind themselves of that. Like you can't let other people affect you and how you live your life. Like you have to live your life, accept who you are, and do what you want to do. Even if like, you can't be afraid of what people think, like, 'cause fear is like the worst thing that you can do to yourself. Like being fearful of what people think, being fearful of the future, like that's what prevents people from doing things, and so you have to just say like, I'm not going to let it affect me. And,
yeah, there's a saying, is like, it's better to fail big than win small. You know what I mean? I agree with you. Like fear paralyzes people. Yeah, I was going to touch on something. All those people like hating and just making like retarded, stupid comments, 99% of the time, like they have no profile picture. it's like some weird like hidden account, you know what I mean? And like you said, it's just miserable, like hating people. But I can imagine you must have like a lot of support also. I mean, I know a lot of fans like love you.
Yeah, I mean, like, and that's another thing where, I get more positive feedback than negative.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm fortunate in that way. But like, I also know it's not like I'm lucky, because I'm very true to who I am, and people see that. Like, it's not like I'm pretending to be someone that I'm not. I'm very genuine. I'm a fucking weirdo, and I'm not afraid to show it.
Yeah.
And, I literally live my life how I want to. I don't care like about what people think.
Yep.
And so people see that. And so they know, it's harder to make fun of someone that truly is embracing their life.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell when someone's like, just fake about things they do and they're not genuine. It's easier to criticize those types of people. So a lot of times the negativity that I get is just really like superficial, stupid comments like, "Oh, you're a slut." And I'm like, "Okay, is that all?" You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I've been called every fucking name you could imagine. And a lot of the times, like, it's like, it makes me laugh, and I really try not to look and engage in some negative comments. And, I'm not the type of person to start drama. Like, I really don't want drama on any of my social media. If someone writes something bad, I usually just delete it and I block them. Like, I don't even engage.
That's what they want.
What?
That's what they want. They want the feedback from you. They want to get a rise out of you, That's the best thing to do. Delete and keep it moving.
Exactly. But it's like, I'm not going to lie. Like, sometimes it's hard for me to not want to say something back, because like I can be really feisty sometimes, like not in like, I can keep myself in check, but like there's certainly times I don't like to be misunderstood. So when someone makes a comment that is clearly just ridiculous or not true, or they're saying, they're trying to attack me like personally, then it's hard for me not to want to say something back. And I usually respond by making a video. I'll like make a video where I'm talking about something and I'm basically saying like, "Look, hater, I acknowledge what you said, and I have to tell you that you're inaccurate and you don't know what you're talking about. And the only reason that you felt the need to write a comment like that is because you're miserable with your own life. Happy people and successful people do not attack other people for, you know what I mean? And like, so that's why like I feel sorry for bullies, because psychologically there's definitely some things going on inside of them, and they're not happy. So like they can all go fuck themselves. Like, I hate to say it, but like, you have to fix yourself. Like, when you're happy and you like your life, you don't feel the need to spread negativity. I know I don't. I don't like to be negative. I like to bring people up and inspire people. So I have to always remind myself that, and other people should do that too, because, you can't let bullies get to your head, because that's what they want. And they want that because they want to bring other people down into their little pool of self-pity. And no one's going to do that to me. Like, I'm happy where I am, and, I'm not going down into anyone's shithole with them. So,
it's like, it's crabs in a bucket, they want to pull you down back down in a bucket. It's, and like you said, like, we need more positivity in the world. There's so much crazy shit going on. But I agree with you also, like how people who bully and are like extremely negative, something's going on with them, because like, it's just not normal. And some people are just so damn hateful. Like, it's crazy, it's crazy and it's sad. But, so Felicity, as far as, the porn industry, does it unwarranted bad rap? Like the negative things you hear about it, overall, is it a pretty professional, like, good industry to be in, or do you see a lot of bad going on?
Both. You know, and people could say that about any industry, because there's definitely some really genuine, good people that, you know, are just trying to make a living, and, you know, they're happy and they're living their life. And, you know, you can tell, like, when people are truly like that and they mean well. But then there's also a lot of scumbags that want to fuck people over to make a quick buck and use people and take advantage of people, especially like young girls. Yeah. So, you know, and I've experienced both end of the spectrum. So there's both, you know, but like you have to have a business mind in this industry, and you have to look at it as a way to build yourself, to make money, and to market yourself, you know, like, but the thing is, like, porn has changed so much because of the internet. Yeah. So it's much harder to like make a living from porn.
Because everything's streamed, right? Is that what it is? Like pirated, basically?
Yeah. You know, it's not like how it used to be where people would buy magazines and buy actual videos. It's like you can just go on the internet and look at free porn, you know, so no one really wants to pay for it. Yeah. And I get it, you know, like I absolutely get it. But at the same time, like, people need to remember, you know, people are making that, like, that's how they're making their living. And it's like, you know, when you illegally download music, I mean, people do it. People will always do it. Yeah. But you have to remember, like, those artists, they're making their money. Like, you know, you're taking away money from them when you do that. So, like, it's kind of the same thing with porn. But if you use it the right way, it can really work to your advantage. I mean, but it just really depends, like, the person you are. Cause like I see a lot of people like getting into porn, and, you know, they may be like hot in the first 6 months and be getting a lot of work, but then it slows down. And, you know, cause there's just like this constant flow of new people coming in. And so it's very difficult to like kind of get a grip and make a name for yourself, you know, and still get consistent work. So like I just use it as an avenue, because the thing is, like, I'm not just a porn star. Like, it's really just a small part of my life. It's just a job, and you know, I do it in conjunction with all these different things. But it's helped me, you know, because like I kept my head on straight, and I didn't let it get to my head ever. So I've just used it as like a way to open up other doors. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like, that's what you really got to do.
Yeah. It's like setting yourself up, like, you know, opening up other doors, like you said. It's kind of like a fighter. Like, I'm big into MMA. So like, you know, eventually you can't fight anymore. So you have to like set things up later on down the line for yourself. And
exactly.
It's really smart that you use it as like a platform, and, you know, you got other things cooking, which leads me into, so what are like your future goals that you're willing to talk about? Do you have any big plans? Like, what are your dreams?
I have so many. I mean, obviously I would love to be a successful musician and be able to solely make music. I mean, and be solely to make a living from that. But I'm realistic. It might not happen. But I'm always going to play music because I love it. So, you know, I definitely want to continue to grow my band and continue to play shows and start touring and, you know, really get known in our genre of music. Cause like we have kind of a small niche. Like, it's not like a huge genre. We're like sludge metal. Yep. So I feel like if we keep going on this rate, at this rate, we could definitely grow, you know? And so I really want to focus on that. I want to really focus on DJing more, doing a lot of parties and festivals, you know, and I know if I really put more time and effort into DJing, I could be successful in it. And, I could make a lot of money doing it. Yeah. So that's one goal. Another goal, I need to finish my book.
Cool.
I definitely want to finish this sort of really graphic book that I'm writing.
Is it like a bio or is it like a fiction book?
It's not fiction. Like it's all it's nonfiction. It's basically like a bio, but it's more of like behind the scenes, like just graphic stories. And I think people would really enjoy it. It would give them like more insight about, it's more targeted to like the adult industry, you know, and, but more so how it's like molded me into a person rather than just like my sexual exploits, you know, it's like more than that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a transformation type book, where people can see like how I've grown. So that, just kind of continuing to like build my brand. You know, I need to make a new website where I can sell my own content instead of like selling on all these other sites.
Yeah.
You know, open up a better merch store. You know, those are like near future goals that I know I'll get accomplished this year.
Yeah.
Long-term goals, I mean, like I'm 25 now. By 30, like I want to have a huge property of land, where I can kind of make like a retreat type center.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in doing that and utilizing maybe like music, yoga, nutrition, and even like have some type of animal sanctuary. Like that's like a long-term goal. I would really love to like create a space to bring people together and to heal them, you know?
Yeah. That's
cool. That would, what?
No, I said that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, like that's definitely something I've always wanted to do, even since I was a little kid. Like I love the idea of people just healing themselves by natural ways and like enjoying their time together and embracing life. And you know, I know, you know, there's people that like have, you know, that do that, and I think like I could definitely be successful with it down the road, you know, if I just continue to grow my brand. So, I mean, those are probably like my main goals. I would like to start my own line of nutrition products too, but that's a lot of work. So I'm not necessarily ready to do that right now, but like, you know, maybe in the next 15 years, I would do that.
Probably a big investment too.
Yeah, you know, and I've worked for so many different nutritional brands where like I know how hard it is. You know, like I've been opened accounts for brands. I've been the sales rep. You know, I've worked in the labs. Like I've worked on fucking farms. Like it's so much work that goes into it, you know? And so, yeah, I mean, that's mainly it, you know?
Sorry to cut you off, Felicity. I'm sorry. But the book, you know, I was going to say, to my understanding, that's a fuckload of work. Are you editing it yourself? You're just writing it just solo, all you?
Right now, yeah. I mean, like basically I take a lot of, I have a lot of old blogs on the internet where like I've wrote chapters at a time.
Yeah.
So I kind of take like excerpts from different things I've wrote over the years and like from journals, and the writing, like finding the content isn't really the hard part for me. The hardest part is like organizing it. Like how should I structure the book? Because my life has been so chaotic the past few years, like in a good way, but it's just really hard to like organize it. So I've thought of ways where I can like break the book up, you know, like is each chapter like a shoot? Is each chapter, you know, like a month? Like I don't really know how to kind of break it up, and that's been the hard part for me. So like I do want to work with some type of editor to help me, you know, not necessarily like co-write it, but to kind of help me organize and plan it better, because I'm kind of all over the place right now. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said earlier in the episode, I mean, I got experience in writing, and it's tough. It's tough. Sometimes you get like writer's block. Sometimes you don't know where to start. I think writing stories and screenplays is probably like a little bit different than like life experiences. But yeah, writing could be a pain in the ass sometimes, and you have to be in the mood to write, you know?
Absolutely. You know, like even, sorry, I'm gonna interrupt, but like this past week I was in Alaska with my family, and we were on like a week-long cruise, which was a new experience for me. I've never been on a cruise before.
Yeah.
But, you know, before the cruise, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to write every day. I'm going to sketch some stuff every day. I'm going to read every day. I'm going to have all this time because I'm on a boat. I hardly wrote at all. You know, like, it was the complete opposite. Like I didn't even feel inspired like to do stuff when I was on the boat. I mean, maybe because I hadn't seen my family in a long time and I was with them like 24/7, but I you know, it sucks when that happens. Like writing is definitely to really like do good work and for me to feel like I'm making like genuine writing, I have to be in this inspiring mood.
Yeah.
Inspirational mood. I mean, you know, like it can't force it to come out.
Absolutely.
And,
yeah.
You know, and if you try to, like, you can tell.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell, like, that it's, like, mundane and it's not that, you know what I mean?
100%. Like, because it happens to me, like, I've went, like, gaps without writing, like, stories, like, short films or screenplays, whatever. Like, when I say gaps, I'm talking, like, a year, 2 years. Like, I'm just not feeling it. And then I come back to it hardcore. And it's like, sometimes you have to like ride that wave when you're like inspired and you're just feeling it. You'll just write every day. And then other times, like, I don't know how you feel about this, but I can't set a schedule. I can't be like, oh, I'm going to write Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But they say you're supposed to do that. Like, it's better to just write something on a paper and just keep going till something's good than not do it at all. You know, that's what they say, the quote professionals.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I'm not good at making schedules with certain things. Like, I was having a conversation with someone about this recently, how like I'm really disciplined in certain areas of my life. And then other areas, like I'm very unstructured, but like I seem to thrive that way. Sometimes it's really difficult for me to like have a schedule every day, and like especially certain things like creative stuff, even playing drums. I have to like I have to want to do it. Like sometimes forcing myself to do it just doesn't feel natural, and then like I don't want to do it.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So it's like I kind of prioritize things, like, you know, every day, like I get in a workout every day. I have to, you know, do all my internet stuff and social media crap. Like those are priorities because I know that it's just going to help me, you know, playing drums. Like if I don't practice, then it's obvious, like I'm going to get rusty. Yeah. And it's kind of like that with writing too, but it's just, I don't know. I've never really like set a schedule for myself, like, okay, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. I'm going to write, you know, like some days it just doesn't come.
Yep. I agree. I understand 100%. I'm gonna have to check out some of your blogs. I'm curious now. I want to check them out. But I got a fun question for you. This is like kind of out there, but you have to answer honestly. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Don't be afraid. You have to answer honestly. Do you believe in aliens?
Yes.
All right. Cool. Me too.
I mean, it's kind of, you know, I've always felt this way, and I'm sure other people feel this way, that it would be pretty ignorant for us to think that we're the only form of life in our entire galaxy. So yes, you know, I do believe that there's extraterrestrials and other beings out there, you know. I mean, who knows? They could be amongst us. They could be hiding in plain sight. Who the fuck knows?
Maybe.
You know, like
there's like lizard people out there that like morph. I don't know. But like, here's my take on it. Not to get all like super nerdy, but so I think it's like mathematically impossible for there not to be life. Like when you think about it, because like they say that the universe is infinite, and who's to say that the same scenario didn't occur at some point in the universe, like with the sun, you know, a star with an Earth-like planet? I mean, there's got to be life out there. Like infinite, it's like mathematically impossible there's no life. And when I say life, I don't mean like a cell. I mean like a living, intelligent being, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, and then to think like, there's just so much evidence about how there's things on this planet that we can't explain how they got there, without like the help of extraterrestrials or
like
intervene, Yeah, like just, so I don't know. I to be honest, I try not to think about it too much, but like I do have a very open mind when it comes to that. I'm not that into astronomy, which is funny because I'm really into astrology. My grandma was an astrologist, so I grew up with it, and the real science of astrology is amazing, like when you get into it. But I never really had a huge interest in like learning about space.
Yeah.
Just because, well, I guess in my mind, there's already so much that I have to focus on this planet Earth that I don't necessarily want to go like focus all my attention on what could be out there, because like I need to focus on my life.
Yeah.
So I need to ground myself a little bit like in that way,
Yeah. Real quick, what's your sign?
I am Cancer on the cusp of Leo. So I'm July 21st. But check this out. I don't know if you've ever done your birth chart, but in my birth chart, I have mainly Leo in my chart, which I was born a C-section. I was supposed to be born a week later. So I would have been a Leo. But my mom said that I was kicking and I wanted to get the fuck out of her stomach. So she had a C-section.
Yeah.
And, or not stomach, or cervix. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've analyzed my birth chart for years, and I always look at other people's birth charts, like when I meet them. And it's pretty fascinating. Like, I'm not obsessive about it. Like, I don't read my horoscope, but like I read like astrology weather forecasts almost every day to see like what planets are in what signs. And it really makes a difference. Like, it makes me understand people better. But I use it as a tool. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a way for me to navigate better. Yeah. But I don't necessarily like solely depend on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm a Capricorn. I was born January 1st. So
okay.
I got horns. I'm cool. That's cool. All right. So you've been really gracious with your time, Felicity. I'm not going to keep you on too much longer. So I got another question. The last question was weird and fun. This one's kind of deep. You don't have to really get into it or answer if you don't want. But in either way, whatever your answer is, that's cool. Cool with me. And I'll touch on my thoughts. But do you believe in a higher power? That's a tough one.
Well, okay. The best way for me to explain this is that I'm not religious, so I don't believe in an organized type of religion, higher power, like a god. But I do believe in universal energy that basically connects everyone and everything. And I do believe that there's energies that hang around that can kind of be referred to as like demons, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think most demons actually are helpful. But, I do believe like the life in everything is connected, and we have the ability to access like different energy within ourselves and other people. And so like, it's hard to say. I mean, like, I don't know if you would call that like a greater power or just believing in energy, I mean, because like, for instance, I'm able to manifest a lot of things by concentrating my energy. Like, I've always kind of been that way. And one could argue that that is like an example of greater power. I mean, a higher power, but I think it's just utilizing your energy to get what you want. Kind of like that book, The Secret.
Yeah. Law of attraction. Yep.
The law of attraction. Yes, exactly. So like, I'm more interested in that than like believing that there's some God that created us and like
with a white
look. Yeah, like like to each his own. And for a fun fact, I actually went to Catholic school for about 4 years growing up as a kid before I went to public school. So I was like immersed in Catholic religion for years. But even as a kid, I just like didn't find it inspiring. Like I didn't believe in it. You know, we would go to church and I would admire all the architecture and the painted glass and the stained glass and all that. But like the whole religious aspect I thought was baloney. Like even as a kid, it was like this way to organize people because it was a way of like provoking fear into people. And I just can't get down with that. You know what I mean? But like Buddhism or Taoism, like that's more appealing to me. But like, you know, I don't follow any specific organized religion.
Yeah.
I kind of have just like developed my own religion by living my life.
You know, like my take is like, I'm not religious. My family's like Christian. I've been to church like growing up and stuff like that. And never like stuck with me. I always kind of viewed it, and it's kind of controversial. I may offend people by saying this, but you know, like to me, organized religion, kind of like a form of like psychological control. You know,
Yes.
I feel like if you misbehave, you're punished and go to hell. If you behave and do what we tell you, you're rewarded and you go to heaven. I mean, that's how I view it. It's like this form of control, but to each their own. I mean, if it works for you and you know, some people like it saved them and got them off of drugs or, you know, improved their life, makes them a better person. Awesome. Good for you. For me, what turned me off, not to go like on a big rant, but like I saw a lot of hypocrisy, people very judgmental, you know, so it just turned me off. But I believe in some kind of higher power. Like with all that being said, you know, I feel like, and I'm not going to keep ranting, promise, but I feel like everything's too perfect to be like an accident. Like, you know, like show me an accident that is like this perfect, like the Big Bang and evolution and everything. It's like, look at our bodies, the way our bodies function like machines, the ecosystem, everything has a balance. And I feel like it's way too fit together like a puzzle. Like there's something going on. And then like, you know, personal experiences, like weird little things, like you said, like, you know, instances like, you know, I died a couple of times. I had almost died a few times, and like just weird things that have happened to me, you know, make me just believe in something. But I'm definitely not a quote religious person. I just believe in something. But that's me. I don't judge anybody. I don't care what you believe in. I don't care if you're an atheist. It doesn't matter to me. Like what matters to me is like if you're a good person. That's all I care about.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. But I mean, ultimately, I think that comes back to energy. Like, if you're promoting good energy and you're trying to be a good person and you're trying to do the right thing, you don't need to follow religion to do that. I mean, like, if religion helps guide you to do that, then okay, good for you. But, you know, for me, like, I feel like if you're strong enough of a person, like, you can kind of find your own morals and, you know, live a life of good intention just by following energy, you know. And it's like every decision you make is going to have an outcome and a consequence, whether it's positive or negative.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you focus your energy into doing like quote unquote the right thing or to improve yourself or to help other people,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to come back to you in a positive way. You know, like I don't want to say the word karma, but it's kind of like karma.
Mm-hmm.
Like what goes around comes around. Like what you put out into the world is going to come back to you.
I believe that.
And, you know, like I've always been a really strong believer in that. And like that's why like I've been able to open up certain doors for myself and do certain things. It's because like I would so intensely focus my energy into certain things
Mm-hmm.
and really try to do it with pure intention
Mm-hmm.
that I got what I wanted, or like, you know, I was able to achieve things just by doing that. And so I think anyone's really capable of that, but like you have to really get familiar and comfortable with yourself and just know what you want.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And just try to promote positive energy.
Yep.
So, I
Same.
mean, I guess, yeah, like that would be my viewpoint, I guess, you know?
Yeah. You said like you don't want to use the word karma, but like I believe in karma. Like I've seen it. I've seen people be total like dickwads, and they may not like get what's coming to them at the moment, but it's weird how life works where, you reap what you sow. You know what I mean? If a jerk to people, eventually it comes back to you. You know what I mean? If you're a quote good person, and like you shouldn't do good to expect good. You know what I mean? Like you should never have that attitude, but yeah, I do believe in karma. I think life has like a way of balancing things, but that's just me.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, and it's kind of like even work ethic too. Like, for instance, like people in business, people that are fair and that care about their employees, or, they respect other people, then they tend to be more well-liked and successful versus someone that is corrupt and is solely out to just make money and will step on anyone that they can to get there.
Mm-hmm.
They might reach some success or make some fast money initially, but usually shit starts to come down on them. Like,
Yep.
Either people start, reaching out and criticizing them, or like, they get arrested for fraud or whatever it is. Like, I feel like when you have pure intention and want to do things so everyone benefits, including yourself,
Mm-hmm.
that is ultimately going to pay off better than anything else. You know what I mean? So I try to be like that, whatever I'm doing. Like if I'm working in the adult industry, like if I'm dancing or if I'm doing webcam or if I'm shooting porn, like I always try to treat other people well, and treat them like how I would want to be treated. The same thing with music and nutrition. Like I would never promote a product.
Didn't believe.
Say like, yeah, like for instance, like, yeah, like the nutrition stuff. I only work for companies that I feel passionate about. Because like if I wouldn't use it, then I'm not going to promote it and give it to someone else. You know what I mean? Like, because that would just be me being ingenuine, and I don't want to come off that way.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's...
fuck people over by sending them bullshit. that doesn't work,
Yeah, exactly. And like, I don't want to live my life like that, and it's just, so it's pretty simple. Like, that's pretty much how I abide, and get through each day. Like, I try to be a good person, like whatever that means. But
yeah, no, you know what influenced me too is the acts of like others. I've had people do things for me, like selfless like acts, and like influence me throughout the years. And I feel like, yeah, like if we all had that attitude where if you help your neighbor, nobody would really need anything. You know what I mean? Like not to get all philosophical and all like deep and sappy, but like if your neighbor's hungry and you have a sandwich and you cut it in half, you give them your half of the sandwich. And then, if you're still hungry, your neighbor will help you out. You know what I mean? If everybody had that attitude, I mean, that's probably like a bad example, but I'm sure you know what I'm trying to say. We wouldn't need anything, but unfortunately, there's a lot of people in the world like out for self, and
exactly. But like, this is also like, especially living in Los Angeles, it's such a dog eat dog world. I mean, like people are so out for themselves, and a lot of people, they don't give a shit about you unless like you can offer them something. And it's a pretty sad it's pretty sad observing it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, I'm realistic. I get it. It's a hustle, but at the end of the day, like I've kind of realized something, and this is, I guess, like my closing thought. Something that I really try to be aware about is that my interactions with people will forget what you said or maybe what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. So if you have significantly positive and genuine energy, people don't forget that. Like they might forget, you know, that you forgot to pick them up, or you woke up late, or you said something kind of mean. They might forget that, but like they'll never forget how you made them feel. If they like being around you and they like your energy, people remember that, and then they want more of you. You know, like you have to be like this lantern of light for people to be drawn to. And I've always been really conscious about that, because like I know I have a light that people are attracted to, but like I have to always remind myself too, in order to keep it lit, I have to keep the fire burning like within myself, you know, so I have to take time for myself too, and like, and rekindle my fuel and recharge my batteries, you know, and yeah, so I mean that's kind of like how I go about with living.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's a pretty profound statement. You know, people, they won't forget how you made them feel. I would have to agree with that. So on a lighter note, the last two questions are really short. You ready? It's lighter. So, do you have a favorite TV show? And are you into movies at all? And if so, do you have a favorite movie?
I gotta be honest, I'm not a huge TV person.
No, not even Westworld, Game of Thrones.
I know it's like not exciting of an answer, but
I'm just joking. It's cool.
Like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't have a TV in my room growing up as a kid. We had like a family television, so like I just never really watched a lot of TV, and like even as I got older, I never really watched that much. Maybe occasionally on Netflix. Like I like docu-series and stuff like that, where I can like learn about stuff, but I'm kind of ignorant in that way. Like I really don't watch TV or follow shows, but movies,
rot your brain.
What?
I say good for you. It'll rot your brain, like the Kardashians and bullcrap like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a given, but I just get bored too, because like, well, not bored. Always have so much crap that I have to do that, like, to me, it takes a lot for me to like want to sit down and watch TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like I have to really be in the mood to do something like that. I mean, I like watching movies sometimes, but I really like documentaries and more of like thriller and psychological movies that make me think. You know what I mean?
Yep. I gotcha.
But
so you you never like dork out to like Marvel movies like Infinity War? Nothing.
I mean, I don't know. Like I've watched some movies like that, but like it's usually just because someone else wants to watch it, and I'm like I happen to just be there, or like I'm on an airplane and it's the only thing that I have to watch. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of a movie I liked recently. Like American Animals. I saw that in theater recently. And that was like based on a true story. It was about these guys that like robbed a library to steal these old books. Like that was kind of a fun movie, you know, but I don't know. I guess I'm not really like a movie buff. not too exciting.
I'm a freaking huge movie dork. I mean, I like everything. I like thrillers. I like popcorn action, Marvel, crap like that. My favorite actor is De Niro. I'm not even going to get into a movie rant. We'll be here forever. I'm done with that. But, okay, books. Do you read any books? Like Stephen King? Come on.
Yeah, no, I love reading. I read a lot of autobiographies, especially like by musicians.
Yep.
I used to like Ayn Rand a lot. She was one of my favorite authors. I do like Stephen King. I read a lot of him. I like Michael Pollan. He's like a journalist that talks a lot about nutrition and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I love to read. I always have books that I'm reading, like sometimes more than one at a time, and I'll just like go back and forth. But I really like nonfiction books too. Like I'm not much of I like some fiction stuff, but I really like learning about, I read a lot of like nutrition books or books on health and diets and stuff like that. But I love reading about like famous musicians and people, and just to like see their stories and struggles. Like that's really fascinating to me.
Yeah.
So, I read a lot of stuff like that. But
yeah, I'm a pretty like big intellectual. I like stimulating my mind with like Spider-Man comics and Felicity, you've been like super, super awesome and gracious with your time. In closing, do you want to like plug anything? I'm going to put like your pages in the description of the episode, so I'll link everything. But, do you want to like plug anything?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like just my social media. My website is just officialfelicityfeline.com. And all my social media is on there. That's like my blog and website. And then Twitter, Instagram is just Felicity X Feline. And then maybe a shout out to my band Garbeast. People could follow us, check out our music, and also a CBD company that I'm working with now. It's called Black Label Hemp.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe those are probably the plugins I would want to promote the most.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. If you want, you could just message me. Any links you want me to put in the description, I'll add them in. And yeah, once again, thanks Felicity for being on. It was really fun talking to you.
Yeah, you too. Thanks so much for reaching out. And I'll get back to you in a little bit with everything.
Cool. All right. So for you guys listening, thanks for listening to the episode. And we'll catch you guys with the next one. Until then, take care.